Sit down. Silence your phone. Lock the door. Because what Remy Ma just did on a live microphone this morning did not just end a marriage, it detonated an entire family tree, and the pieces are still falling out of the sky on top of everybody who thought they knew this story. Remy called Papoose's own sister a pedophile. Out loud. On record. With divorce papers in one hand and a stopwatch in the other. And Claressa Shields, undefeated, undisputed, and apparently unprepared, walked into this morning thinking she was about to shut a rap veteran up before breakfast was even served. She had no idea Remy was already loading the receipts, timing the clock down to the second, and preparing to drag half of Brooklyn into the daylight while the coffee was still brewing. Before this story is over, you are going to hear the age math, the divorce timeline down to the minute, the jewelry receipts from a store you can look up on a map, the bedroom betrayal that never should have made it out of that house, the surveillance camera claim that is going to unsettle every couple watching this, and the one accusation that made every comment section on the internet freeze at exactly the same time. Stay right where you are. Because this one gets uglier than anybody was ready for, and it gets uglier fast. Welcome back, and pour something strong because today's cup is not a light one and I refuse to sip it alone. Claressa Shields decided this morning was the morning she was going to end the conversation once and for all. Claressa hopped online swinging, told the world she is not broke, told the world Papoose is not her manager, told the world Remy needed to shut all the way up about her name in every direction. Bold energy. Confident energy. The energy of a woman who has never lost a fight and forgot for 1 second that the woman on the other side of the phone does not fight with fists at all. Remy fights with paperwork. Remy fights with timestamps. Remy fights with a memory that reads like a court transcript typed in real time. And what Remy did next did not just answer Claressa Shields, it rewrote the entire story in front of a live audience while the ink on the divorce papers was still drying. Claressa tried to draw a line in the sand. She warned Remy that if she woke up tomorrow to any more chatter about her name, it was going to be a problem, and she meant it in that boxing champion voice that usually makes people back down. That was the exact moment Remy decided to make it a problem right now, this morning, before any tomorrow could arrive. Remy went straight to Instagram, and what Remy posted was not a rant. It was not a subtweet. It was not a screenshot war. It was a spreadsheet with feelings attached. Claressa just turned 30, Remy said. Claressa allegedly met this man 8 months ago. Claressa is 30. Papoose is 47. Remy has known Papoose since Claressa was 10 years old. Remy married Papoose when Claressa was 13. For biological children between them, ages listed out one by one for anybody who still wanted to keep score at home. A new baby on the way, allegedly promised as part of the New Deal. And then the line that broke the internet clean in half, a divorce finalized 18 hours, 54 minutes, and 3 seconds ago. Read that number one more time. Because Remy did not round. Remy did not estimate. Remy did not soften a single digit. Remy timed the whole thing like a bomb and posted the countdown for the world to see. Now, Claressa did what people always do when they realize they are losing the round in front of a live audience. She swung back harder. Told everybody they are building a family. Told everybody she is happy. Told everybody Remy is still invited to the cookout as long as the attitude is right. And then, in the same breath, in the same post, in the same 45 seconds, she tried to plug her July 26th fight one more time. That was the mistake. That was the crack in the armor. Because Remy Ma clocked it in real time and called it exactly what everybody at home was already whispering, a promo stunt walking around in a comeback outfit. A press run wearing lip gloss. A publicity move disguised as a love story. And once Remy said it out loud, you could not unsee it no matter how hard you squinted. Here is the piece nobody in the comments wants to say clearly. If Remy Ma is truly done, truly finished, truly on the other side of this whole marriage, why is Remy online at all this morning? Why is Remy typing? Why is Remy timing the divorce down to the second like an Olympic official? People love to file Remy under the word bully whenever her name gets loud in a headline. Funny how quiet those exact same people go when the other woman in the story is an undefeated boxer who could rearrange a jaw with the wrong hand. Remy keeps telling us she has not shared a bed with Papoose since 2023, and yet Remy somehow knows every angle of every room in every property. That is not closure. That is a scoreboard. That is a woman who has been waiting patiently for the right microphone to walk into her hand, and this morning it did. And when the microphone finally came, Remy did not use it to cry a single tear. Remy used it to bury. Remy said Papoose was caught in bed with another woman inside the same bed he shared with his own daughter. Read that sentence twice, because everybody skipped past it the first time. Remy said she refused him for years, denied him inside that same house, and slipped out of that same bed one night to lay down in a completely different room with a close friend of hers, a friend she has known for years and years, and that is the exact night Papoose caught her. Papoose then tried to flip the whole script, tried to imply Easy the block captain, Remy's current partner, is not fully a man, through the tired line about a little sugar in his tank as if that was going to land like a knockout blow. Remy did not flinch, did not blink twice. Remy said thank you for the promotion, because her DMs have been flooded with support from that community since the second those words left his mouth. Remy named her people. Her friends. Her hair stylist. Her makeup artist. Her aggressives. Her fans. And Remy made it plain in one sentence, insulting that community says everything about him and absolutely nothing about her. But that was not the line that actually broke the internet. This was. Remy Ma said she never let her own daughter go over to Papoose's mother's house because of what Remy calls known predators living inside that family. Remy said one of Papoose's adopted sisters has knowingly touched children, and that everybody inside that household knows it, and everybody inside that household has kept quiet about it for years. Remy said it is written into her divorce papers in black and white. Remy dared Papoose to call her a liar in public, in front of a camera, on record. Remy said she could list the names of the children involved if she absolutely had to, and she said it in a tone that told you she was not bluffing about any of it. And when Papoose tried to twist that same accusation into an attack on Remy's fitness as a mother, Remy told the whole world plainly, you can talk about the cheating, you can talk about the money, you can drag her name through the whole internet, you can pull up every old photo you can find, but the second you come for her motherhood, that is the one nerve that actually lights her up. That is the only line that matters. That is the only subject that ever gets a real reaction. And Papoose crossed it in public with his own mouth. Now, do not skip the jewelry section, because the jewelry section is where the pettiness turns surgical. For years Papoose has been walking around New York letting people assume he bought Remy Ma's entire collection. Every chain, every stone, every wrist piece, every diamond, his money, his flex, his generosity, his brand. Remy corrected the entire record in one breath and did not blink while she did it. An anklet. A charm. That is the full list of what Papoose bought. The half-kilo Cuban chain, not him. The Cartier bracelet, not him. The Van Cleef, not him. Remy says she has receipts from Pristine Jewelers with hundreds of thousands of dollars in her own name printed on them, and she said if anybody needs proof, she will produce it. And even if a piece had come from Papoose, Remy said what every woman watching was already thinking to themselves, a gift is not a lease. Possession is not ownership. You do not get to reach into her jewelry box and pawn what you handed her on an anniversary. That is not a divorce. That is a robbery with a receipt. And then Remy Ma went somewhere the internet was absolutely not expecting. Remy said Papoose kept cameras and recording devices in every house they lived in together and every car they drove together for years on end. Remy said Papoose recorded people without their knowledge so he could control the story later, so he could edit the truth into whatever shape the moment required, so he could keep a personal archive of leverage in his back pocket. Remy said the reason none of this ever leaked publicly for so long was because everybody involved had quietly agreed to keep the whole situation out of the spotlight, and that understanding held for years, until it did not. And the second that understanding cracked open, the whole vault opened at once. As always, these are Remy's allegations. They have been disputed. They remain contested. But contested or not, the timing of everything became just as loud as the accusations themselves. Some watchers called the whole rollout a strategic move by Remy timed to her album cycle. Others called it a private dispute that finally hit its boiling point. What is not up for debate anywhere is that once Remy pulled the pin, nobody was catching it in time to stop the blast. Here is where Remy pivoted the whole conversation, and the pivot is what turned this from a scandal into a comeback story. Remy started talking about Easy the block captain. Remy called Easy's work ethic loud enough for the whole city to hear. Remy called his credit score the cleanest she has ever seen on any man in her adult life. Remy said Easy makes about $50,000 a battle, 6 battles a year, $250,000 a year, guaranteed and consistent. Remy said Easy came out of sanitation, has a pension plan, has a 401k, has a lean-free financial life, and treats her right when the cameras are off and when the cameras are on. And then Remy dropped the surgical line. She said Papoose could not stomach the idea that a regular man who happens to rap, without the gimmicks, without the cosplay, without the manipulation, without the industry cosigns, was able to walk in and treat her better than a decade of marriage ever did. Remy said Papoose spent years terrified she was going to leave for an athlete, for another rapper, for an executive with a corner office. She said what Papoose never saw coming was that she left him for the one thing he could not outperform in a lab, decency. And Remy was not done there. Remy said Papoose's career moves have quietly tracked her album cycles for years. Every time Remy dropped a project, Papoose dropped. Every time Remy moved, Papoose moved. Remy said old photos of her have been resurfaced by his camp to try to embarrass her publicly on purpose, and Remy warned plainly, both sides have a past, and both sides have a phone, and if the game we are playing today is receipts, she is the one holding the thicker folder by a mile. Every clip of that section is already looping on every platform. Reaction videos are stacking by the hour. Comment sections are civil warring in real time. Podcasters are booking emergency episodes tonight. Blogs are rewriting their headlines every 20 minutes as new screenshots go viral. And then Remy Ma went one step deeper into the well. Remy said Papoose threatened to leak private tapes to keep her in line whenever she considered leaving. Remy said certain battle rap insiders were feeding him information about her movements so he could stay one step ahead in the press cycle. Remy said she knew the whole time. Remy said she watched the entire operation run itself for years and never lifted a finger to stop it, because she was still trying to preserve a home for her children. And then Remy closed with the one sentence that separated this from every single celebrity split of the year. She said this is the most at peace she has ever been in her adult life. She said the only time the tension ever shows up now is when she has to speak on this publicly, because speaking publicly is the one weapon that actually moves the needle with Papoose. She said the moment she stopped reacting to him and started strategizing against him, he was out of her house the very same day. Now let me put the timeline in your hand, because the timeline is the whole ballgame, and once you see it laid out, you cannot unsee it. Remy has known Papoose since Claressa Shields was 10 years old. Remy married Papoose when Claressa was 13. 4 biological children with him. A public divorce that closed 18 hours before Papoose was standing next to a 30-year-old boxer talking about a new family unit. 8 months of dating between Papoose and Claressa, allegedly. A newborn allegedly on the way as part of the announcement. And a full album cycle worth of Papoose's own career moves happening on the exact same schedule as Remy's own. When you line those numbers up on a single piece of paper, the story stops being a rumor and starts being a receipt with a barcode. And receipts are what Remy Ma keeps in a drawer right next to the ones from Pristine Jewelers. And this is exactly where Claressa Shields has to make a decision the boxing ring never prepared her for. Because Claressa can absolutely dominate an opponent inside 12 rounds. Nobody on this planet disputes that fact. Claressa is the most decorated female boxer of her generation and one of the most accomplished American athletes alive right now, period. But this fight does not end when the bell rings. This fight ends when the internet gets bored, and the internet is nowhere close to bored yet. Every quote from Remy has become a screenshot. Every screenshot has become a meme. Every meme has become a headline. Every headline has become a podcast segment. And Claressa is now in the position of defending a man whose ex-wife has receipts, a stopwatch, a jewelry ledger, a surveillance claim, and a divorce document with allegations about his own family printed inside it in ink. There are people online today telling Claressa to walk away and cut her losses fast. There are people telling Claressa to fight harder and never let a rapper end her love life. There are people telling Claressa this is a setup, a plant, a payday, a plot, a publicity stunt working on both sides at once. There are people telling Claressa that the July 26th fight promo is going to sell out either way now, because rage travels faster than admiration on every algorithm ever built. What Claressa cannot do at this exact moment is pretend Remy did not say what she said. Because what Remy said is now permanently sitting inside the search bar. And search bars have longer memories than press releases. Watch what happens next very carefully. Because in stories like this one, the next 72 hours decide the entire arc going forward. Either Papoose comes forward with a denial that carries real paperwork of its own, a lawsuit, a counter-statement, a receipt of his own, a text message screenshot with a timestamp, or the silence itself becomes the confession by default. Either Claressa distances herself from the noise and calls this a private family matter she will not comment on again, or Claressa doubles down and the boxing press turns this whole saga into a permanent chapter of her legacy that no title belt will ever fully cover. Either Remy Ma keeps the receipts flowing daily, or Remy goes quiet on purpose and lets the internet do the excavation for her while she sits back and watches the numbers climb. The one thing that is not on the table anymore is a clean ending. This story does not have a clean ending. Remy made sure of that this morning when she typed the number 18 hours, 54 minutes, and 3 seconds and hit post. And here is the deeper layer that most reaction videos are going to completely miss tonight. Everything about the way Remy timed this rollout tells you Remy was ready. Remy was not caught off guard. Remy was not scrambling. Remy was not typing through tears. Remy had the ages memorized. Remy had the divorce timestamp calculated to the second. Remy had the jewelry receipts already sorted by store, by date, by dollar amount. Remy had the bedroom incident already prepared as a rebuttal to any character attack that came her way. Remy had the family accusation already sitting inside legal paperwork, waiting for the exact right sentence to trigger the deployment. And Claressa Shields, by trying to plug a fight in the middle of a warning shot, wrote that exact sentence herself. That is what nobody is saying out loud tonight. Claressa handed Remy the pin. Remy pulled it. And now everybody standing in the blast radius has to figure out what to do next. Look at how the rest of the industry has already positioned itself around this in less than 24 hours. Every major blog that used to cover Papoose favorably has already gone silent this morning. Every podcast that used to book him is quietly reshuffling its guest list for next week. Every producer who used to shout him out in liner notes has suddenly gotten very interested in other topics. That is not coincidence. That is what industry insulation looks like when a bigger name pulls a bigger pin. Remy Ma has been in this business for over 2 decades. Remy knows exactly which doors open and which doors close when a story like this drops before noon. And every door that mattered opened for Remy this morning while a lot of doors quietly closed on Papoose without a single press release explaining why. Now the moment we all knew was coming, the 2 questions I want your answer to before you leave this video, and I am reading every single comment tonight until my phone dies. Number 1, do you actually believe Remy Ma is at peace, or is the level of detail in her posts telling on her? Because peace does not usually come with a stopwatch attached. Peace does not usually count children by age. Peace does not usually sit up at midnight timing a divorce to the second. Peace looks a lot quieter than what we watched Remy do this morning. Number 2, the family allegation, the one about the adopted sister, the one Remy says is written into her divorce papers in ink. Is that a truth that needed daylight for the sake of the children in that house, or is that a nuclear option Remy pulled the pin on because Claressa Shields said the wrong sentence at the wrong hour of the wrong morning? There is no wrong answer to either question. But there is an answer somewhere in your gut, and I want to see it in the comments underneath this video before the night is over and the next round starts. Everything you just heard tonight is built from public posts and public allegations circulating on record across multiple platforms. None of it has been confirmed as legal fact, and both sides continue to deny, dispute, or reframe portions of the timeline as the day unfolds. What is not deniable is the volume. This story has already outrun the news cycle, outrun the fight promo, outrun the album cycle, outrun the podcast circuit, and outrun every publicist attached to any of the names involved. When the smoke settles, one truth is already visible from a mile out: Remy Ma did not come online today to argue with anybody. Remy came online today to close a chapter with a receipt in one hand, a stopwatch in the other, and a divorce document sitting open on the table between them. And she did exactly that in under an hour. If you made it this far into the video, do me the one favor that actually matters: hit that subscribe button right now, because more of these receipts are dropping every single day and you do not want to be the last one at the table when the next chapter drops. Turn those notifications on. Leave a comment with your answers to both questions. Share this with the one friend you know is going to have opinions. I am pouring the next cup right now. The kettle is already back on the stove. And the tea, as always, stays hot in here. Blee.